What's up guys, this is Yasser. Welcome back to my channel. You're watching Yasser's Fit Frag, and today I'm going to talk about the next set of samples from Inspired Aroma. So if you haven't watched my first part on the same video, please watch that before you continue watching this one, because I would not be detailing completely about the brand which I have mentioned in that particular video. The first part I have detailed about 3 different fragrances from Inspired Aroma, so I'll be talking about the other 3 in this particular part of Inspired Aroma. So coming to the first one, I would quote this as number 3 among the 3 that I'm going to talk today. So this is Amber Incense. Now the reason why I'm placing this as number 3 is because, like I always mentioned, if you happen to watch all my videos, I would have mentioned this several times. I'm not a huge fan of amber note when it is very prominent, unless and until the amber is very undertone in the blend of the overall fragrance. But this, like the name says, Amber Incense, so the amber note is very prominent in this one. I personally do not like it, but for those who like amber note, those who like amber based fragrance, you possibly might like this, because the richness of amber used in this one is really nice, because the amber note in this one is very thick, very oily, a thick oily amber fragrance, which is why it is not so tempting to me, because I personally don't like amber. But to be honest, this quality of amber note that I have seen is only in Dubai based brands like Swiss Arabian, Abdul Samad Qureshi. So those are the brands where I have smelled this quality of amber. The quality of amber is definitely top class. So if you like amber based fragrance, you might definitely like this one. My cousin, who also tried these samples after I told him, he happened to like Amber Incense the most, because he's into that dark masculine type of sense. He's usually into that niche categories. So that's the reason I said I personally don't like it, but not necessarily that you also would not like it. If you are into that dark masculine type of sense, you will definitely like this one, because the quality of amber used in this one is definitely top class. So that's about Amber Incense. And the best part is it easily stays about 12 hours. So there is no issue when it comes to the longevity factor, because it is definitely good. To make it simple, just go for the 2 ml sample. It only costs about 150. Like I always mention, you don't really have to blind buy any of these. You can go for the 2 ml sample and then decide which large bottle that you want to go for. Now coming to number 2 is Shipra Intense. I really love this one, so I got a full bottle of this again. Now if you have watched my first video, I have also mentioned about Pineapple Intense. Now this might smell a little bit like the Pineapple Intense, but to be honest, there is no pineapple note in this one. It's just the blend of grapefruit, lemon, apple and that lily, which gives the feel of the pineapple note. And that's the best part about this one. I personally like this one over Pineapple Intense, which I mentioned in the first video, because this has a slight twist to that typical Creed Aventus DNA. It is not exactly same like the Creed Aventus, but it has a slight twist to it. And apple is one of the fragrance notes which I usually love in fragrance, and possibly that is one reason why I really love this one. So that apple with that pink pepper blend along with grapefruit and lemon really made it very appealing to me, which is why I went for the full bottle. And it also has musk and vanilla in the base to give it that smooth feel. So overall, this is an 8.5 on 10 for me, considering the smell, the quality, the lasting, projection, everything together. 8.5 on 10 in my personal opinion. Now coming to the wearing experience, when I wore it to office, as usual went about 8 sprays, and surprisingly one of the lady managers who was passing by, who was 3 feet away from me, she just called out and said, "Yasser, I can smell you from here." And I was a little surprised, because I did not expect this one to project that well. But she said it smells really smooth and nice, and she even asked for the name and said she wanted to buy this for her husband. But the surprising part was it was projecting 3 feet away, which was really surprising to me. And another female colleague who is my team member, she also said that she could smell me and it is really nice, and she rated it a 9 on 10 when I asked her, and that was even more surprising. And the guy who sits right next to me said that, because he was seeing all of these comments that I was getting, and he said, "I cannot really smell you." And that was obvious that he was right next to me, and it was the olfactory fatigue that he was experiencing, because he was right next to me and he was smelling the same fragrance right from the beginning, so he was not able to sense it. But otherwise, this definitely projects really nice. if you are indoors in an AC environment, and it is very pleasing to the nose. It really gave me good response, 2 compliments in one wear, and it lasted about 8 to 9 hours again, which is definitely good for an extractive perfume concentration. I know extractive perfume concentration, people would expect more than that, but like I said, every fragrance has its own character. Now for a perfume like this, 8 to 9 hours is definitely good. And again, if you do not want to go for the full bottle, you can simply test it with the 2 ml option that you have. So that's about Shipra Intense. Now coming to number 1 is Oud Rose. So again, I really love the 9 ml sample which I had. I immediately went for the full bottle of this one after the full-fledged experience that I had. There is a reason why I'm placing this at number 1. Now to be honest, if you ask my personal taste and personal opinion, I would have placed Shipra Intense at number 1, but I'll tell you why I'm placing Oud Rose in number 1, because I had a very surprising experience with this one. So when I personally tested this at home, the first sniff that I got, it was like, wow, this smells like the Dubai-based Oud and Rose combination that you see in Arabian brands. I showed my brother as well, and he also said the same. Yes, it smells like Dubai-based Oud and Rose combination perfumes that you see there, because Oud is generally Arab preference, but the Oud in this one is not very loud. It is one of the best Oud fragrance that a beginner can also try. And I'll tell you my experience. When I first wore to office, as usual, I went about 8 sprays, but that was actually a little too much for this particular fragrance. I should have actually gone with 4 or 5 sprays max, because I wore it half an hour before reaching office with 8 sprays. And when I was entering my workstation, 2 of my female colleagues who worked with me, they immediately turned and then asked, "Yeah, sir, which one are you wearing today? It smells very different." And that first surprise I got, I thought they did not like this because it has oud. So I was in doubt as to why they asked, and then she immediately said, "Actually, it's very nice because it smells different from the usual fragrance that you wear." She also said it is a little too strong, but she still said that it smells very pleasing to the nose. And after about 1 hour, when I finished my coffee break and when I was coming back to the floor again, another female colleague of mine was just coming behind me, and she reached about 1 or 2 minutes after me. So immediately when she entered the floor, she came and commented saying that, "I knew you just passed by because I felt as if I was entering a rose garden." And again, I was a little surprised, and I asked her, "Is it not good?" She said, "No, it smells really nice." And immediately another female colleague popped up from her desk and asked, "Yeah, so which one are you wearing today? It smells really fantastic." And all of this happened at the same time. It was like back to back, one after the other. People were asking me, and I was actually very surprised. And 5 compliments from women on the same day, and 2 compliments from men on the same day. It was 7 compliments in one single day, and it surprised me to the core because I've never had such an experience with any of my fragrance after Havas. So I think Havas gave me about 5 or 6 compliments in a single day, but this went to 7, and I was really surprised. And the best part was, this is not the usual scent, and to be honest with you guys, this is not one of the best office scent in my opinion. Oud and Rose is definitely meant for parties and marriage occasions that you have. I would definitely not suggest this for high summers, because Oud and Rose will definitely not smell the best in the high summers. So restrict it only to evening occasions when the weather is cool, or if you are going to be in an air conditioned setup. So that's the only time this can give the best result. Do not experiment it in the high summer heat, and do not overspray this one because it can get a little cloying. It smells the best when you go with lesser sprays. 4 sprays for indoors, 6 to 7 sprays for outdoors, and that's when it can give the best. Allow it to settle for 30 minutes at least before you reach the point that you are actually planning to wear this one, because the first 30 minutes can be a little loud, but after 30 minutes it is fantastic, guys, because I have never had any such experience with any of my fragrance in one single day. I actually wore it to one of my friend's reception as well, and I got 3 compliments even there, and it was again surprising. And that's the only reason why I am placing it at number 1, because like I said, I personally prefer Shipra Intense, but for the response I got in this particular scent, Oud Rose, it definitely deserves that number 1 place, guys. I'm sure you would agree with this after you have a wearing experience with this one. Do not judge it by spraying it here and immediately smelling it. ask for people around you how exactly they feel when they get whiffs in the air, because that's the best part about this particular fragrance. So overall, if you ask my personal opinion, I would give it an 8 on 10 when you smell it directly. But for the experience that people around you can have, you will definitely give a 9 on 10, considering the complement factors, considering the projection, considering the longevity. I easily got about 12 hours on this one, and it is still very pleasing to the nose, still very classy. So that's the best experience about this particular fragrance. Even if you are new into Oud Rose, I'm sure you would definitely like this one. Simply go for the 2 ml sample if you do not want to blind buy a large bottle. So that's it for today, guys. This was part 2. In case I try any new samples that he comes across, I would definitely let you guys know about it. So let me know your experience in case you have tried this or bought this. Share your thoughts with me. See you next time in another video. Cheers.